What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Filsinger Games Character Spotlight with Mike and Brock.
Mike,
I'm Brock, and as you can see, the search is over. Our third man was not Mabel or Hulk Hogan. It is Pete Beck. Welcome aboard, Pete. How you doing?
Doing great. Good evening, everybody. How you doing?
Good, good, good.
yeah, it's our friend Pete. Jeff unfortunately had to stop because he's got 17 kids and it just became an issue. And he felt that because he wasn't up to date, that he just felt weird talking about characters he hasn't used.
Didn't stop us.
No.
I was literally gonna say it doesn't stop you guys.
And then Kevin Butcher also made a comment that we probably should get somebody who is current just in case they can answer some questions we don't know because sometimes we're like we don't know what's going on.
That's the story of
So
my
I'm
life.
not I'm not completely up to date. Like I'm playing the year 2131, which is way closer than you guys are.
Yeah,
However, I am familiar with what is happening in the sets. So I got them all.
that'll be helpful.
So yes. And close
All
at
right.
hand too.
Oh, good.
And Opal decided that she wants to be part of the team too. So for everybody
Perfect.
out there, this is Opal. She'll
Hello,
probably
Opal.
walk across the screen a few times before she decides she's gonna go sit.
Cool, cool. All right. Well, tonight we're going to talk about, we're going to continue through CPC 2108 with Buck Steele and Maelstrom. Maelstrom?
Maelstrom.
Maelstrom.
I was actually stationed at a base called Maelstrom. Not anything to do with the game, but it was funny when I saw the character. I was like, that's awfully darn close. So yeah,
It counts.
yeah,
And it's cool too when I do the dramatic reading. I'm like, oh, that's where that guy's from.
yeah, yeah.
Just shocked. Well, let's start off with Buck.
This is an update of Buck Steele. He still transforms into Genocide. We did not get a new Genocide card in this set. That comes next year in the form of an SE. But here's the new Buck Steele. He got a significant downgrade in stats. He went from a 21-26 raw rating to a 14-17 raw rating. And I think the biggest culprit for that is his level 3 offense. He can't keep you down.
Yeah. And I don't think the original Buck also didn't have two C's either.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I have to look it up, but
I
I
currently
want
own
to
them.
say I think that he transforms into Genocide easier
He's
than
well, you
than
can't say easier, but he's got a more of a chance because before he had to
more
get two.
opportunities. Yeah, yes, yes. So he's more prone to turn into Genocide at this point
He has one option on each level of
on each
defense,
level.
and it
Yeah,
gets better each time. Like it
yeah,
increases by one on each level. So it's a 2 to 8 on one, 2 to 9 on two, and then 2 to 10 on three. So that's pretty big because he takes over on level 2 as well when he transforms. So
yeah.
genocide, that's like a level 2 reversal on level 3 defense
Yes,
potentially.
yeah. What his two like on level three? Yeah, his level three. He's got two, one and two are level two moves. So
Yeah, it
he's
has number 1 and 2 are level 2 moves. So
yeah,
he's
he's not
he's
going to keep you down.
no, no. And his ring
He's
rating's
either
a C, so he's probably going to try and avoid doing that.
yeah,
A lot of
he,
chances to
he's
reverse.
he's going to turn into Genocide. That's your best hope.
Yeah, because genocide's tough. His
Yeah,
raw rating for the current card that you'd use with this is 57-57.
yeah.
And then his SC card is 58-58. So next year it gets even better.
What's the highest roll rating?
I have no idea. I'm still not even sure how it works. Pete might know more than me, but
Some of the broken cards, I think, are in the 60s. I think there's
okay.
some in the 60s. So, but
I'm
yeah,
gonna look up monolith just for research here.
I think things like the one as Mike said, what the heck? The Guardian when he was in his Guardian form was in the 60s.
Monolith is a 65, 65.
Yeah. So
Let's see. Let's look at the Guardian. Did he make it into the wiki here? He did. Oh, they don't have his raw ratings though.
yeah, so
What's
yeah.
chaos? The first chaos
The
card.
first chaos. Let's see. First chaos was a 59-59. So yeah, pretty good. 37 though, whenever he was weakened. That's a pretty good dip. It's still better than
Yeah,
most
so
guys.
and I know that you guys have asked this, and I'm trying to remember his name, but the raw rating, and we may have to save that for a whole different discussion date. Uh, I I remember when the guy that created it. It was like in the obviously in the 1990s, and he just was looking for a way to evaluate how cards stacked up against each other. It's really what it was. That's just the premise of how it was supposed to go. But he liked statistics, obviously a whole bunch of us do, and he kind of came up with the formula of adding things for you know the more reversals that you have, the more straight through moves you have. The choices each had a different addition or subtraction. But yeah, he put a lot of actual thought into what he did with it. I can't remember his real name. The reason I remember is because he chose his screen name Rawl after a character in a fantasy series whose name was Richard Rawl, who was also part of a TV series that they came out with back in the 90s. That was the book series was written by Terry Goodkind, and Richard Rawl was the main character. So it was kind of I was like, you're also a fantasy book reader, and he's like, yep, sure am. And so that's where he got his name
Nice.
from.
I always
Yeah,
just assume it was some kind of acronym.
yeah. No,
That's
it's
what I
it's
thought it
actually
was.
Richard Rawl. Yeah, Richard Rawl was the character, and he there's like, geez, I've got the books over there. The books are back on the shelves. Got them.
Nice.
Yeah, like I said, the author's name was Terry Goodkind, and he's the one that it was his main character.
Nice.
But, yeah,
Well, let's do a little bit of dramatic reading first here.
Okay, let me hold the card up.
Yeah, so I'll pick up after 2002. So coming close to a few championships along the way. He's also teamed up with Blizzard as Frozen Fury. But in 2010, with the Genesis team all but a memory, Genocide Persona almost completely took over. One result was that Genocide decided he was tired of ROC and joined forces with the Centurions in 2111, and the next year found him in Murdoch's world in order to battle Max Shield.
Yeah.
So he's got a few things going, but I'm trying to picture the Blizzard team. Like that's Tom just ran out of options.
Well, they were on the same.
I mean, he was just jumping around, matching everybody up with everybody, but they weren't a permanent team. They were
No,
just yeah, they weren't the team in the tag team in it. So yeah,
Trying to get him to focus here. So this card
yeah,
didn't get much play then if Genocide takes over
yeah.
in 2110.
yeah, because
But
he's with Genesis from 2102 to 2109. And then the Ramparts of Centra, 2110, Centurions, 2111,
Yeah.
Murdoch World, 2112, Transevolver, 2013, GWF Coalition, 2014, Genesis Coalition, 2115. Yeah,
it doesn't seem like anybody wanted this guy around.
Yeah, so this is the 2108 book.
Ooh.
That's so yeah, so got it handy. And it basically at this point, Vertigo, who was part of the team, was working more as the manager of Genesis. And Buck Steele / Genocide says Vertigo has brought Buck back to singles action due to his turning into Genocide more often. So hence the changes on the back of the card. And so he was more along the lines of being the main single star. And it says that he was going after Mandrill. So that was the main feud was Mandrill and then the Painmaster.
Cool.
Yeah.
You definitely got to hope for genocide in that feud.
Yeah. Right.
So him and Max literally, I had a card about 2 weeks ago, my most recent one, and they were the GWF Tag Team Champions, Max and um, Buck and Genocide, and they were the GWF Tag Team Champions, and they lost to Matador and Chaos.
That is two very, very, very powerful teams.
Yep.
For sure.
So,
Yeah, I'm looking to see if I got anything if he's
but it was funny because they got Buck in, and Chaos is like, bow of defeat. Nope. Rolled low, bow of defeat, and I just kept rolling low, and then I'm like, okay, Matador's coming in because there's only so many chances you're going to get before Genocide pops out.
hmm And that's dangerous.
Yeah, that +5 finisher that he has is.
Uh-huh. You only have to hit that one once.
yes. Yeah, I'm looking through my 2108 little this I keep a list of all my champions, and this is the one that has that year, like the cards that I rolled in that year. Um, and Buck Steele, yeah, at least I'm looking at it. He's holding on to uh the CPC Heavy Metal Championship. Yes, I did the Heavy Metal Championship, and I loved it. I thought it was great. Um, but it looks like that is about the about what he got that year. He did have a shot at the Galaxy Championship, but you could see them being in the heavy metal area because yeah, he's going to change.
Yeah.
hmm
So
Genocide gets a lot of cards. I'm looking at
yeah,
there's 4 different genocide cards. Buck has a lot of cards too, where he becomes hyper, then he becomes Steel Freak.
Yeah.
But I don't think he transforms anymore by that time.
no, by then he's yeah, we'll get there, but yeah, by then
Yeah,
he's been separated.
yeah.
So
But by use of the Transevolver, which somebody else just picked
yes,
up at a garage sale, and
yes. So
Just fun.
so no, but yeah, you can kind of look at it that way. It was actually sold, I think. I'm sure we'll come to it, but Vin Strutter was the one that actually ended up with the Transevolver.
Okay, we were wondering because we covered where it was sold, but we never knew
Yeah,
who ended up with it.
yeah. Vin Strutter was the one that kept it, and the thought was that at some point maybe he would use it to create some circus freaks, but never did. So yeah,
Eh,
just kind of went away.
best intentions.
Yeah,
yeah, looking at this Buck Steel card, his his level 1 and 2, both offense and defense, aren't that bad.
No.
It's at level 3, both offense and
yeah,
defense, that really suck.
hmm
yes, yep,
And that 0 Jody +3 power, 2 C's. And even then, he still doesn't get DQ'd.
yeah. Well, he doesn't, but Genocide
Genocide,
does.
yeah.
Yeah. So, like I said, this whole card, I'm sure that the basis was to get to Genocide more
Yeah.
often.
But when you
hmm
look like this,
Yeah,
your
you
DQ
would think so, right?
rating should be higher than a 4.
Uh,
He
yeah,
just he takes it right to the line. He knows where to stop.
yeah, yeah. And this is really a cool drawing too. Like this is Jeremy Sue,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Jeremy Sue's first few sets I thought were pretty solid.
he really gave like Buck Steele like he has character in this drawing. Yeah, like I
hmm
mean he you can see like he's not like the first one was just standing with his arms crossed. Okay, I get it that he's kind of laid back, but this one you can tell that it's he's got something going on.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It's
And
funny because
Vengeance is
Tom tried to get me to meet Jeremy and meet up with him on half a dozen occasions because he only lives like an hour from me, and he just wouldn't do it.
hmm, Jeremy wouldn't?
Yeah,
Huh. Well, all right.
and Tom never met him either. He just talked over the phone. He did not want to meet people.
Eh, I can understand that.
Uh,
Because Tom was like, yeah, he goes, we got to go. I had a Galactican coming up, and Tom's like, I'd really like to, for you to get him there as well. He goes, so I can meet the guy. And I had his email, and Tom emailed him, and he's like, can you come? Uh, even you're only an hour away. You don't got to spend the night or anything like that. Just come, hang out for a couple hours, leave. And he's like, no. But Tom's like, I'm your boss. Yeah, I don't care.
He probably heard from Bendis how the artists were treated at conventions.
uh,
But I remember that Galactican is whenever Tom announced that Jeremy was taking over,
Yep.
yeah,
and he showed. I think he just had Code Enforcer. I think at that time, the
Yeah.
smaller one.
Well, like I said, it's a different style. Like that.
Hmm.
yes.
That's the one thing every artist we've ever had has their very own style, and you can pick up on it right away. Like
Yeah.
nobody's copying each other, going, you know, I like this guy's art, and you kind of stick with it.
Hmm. I think this is the most comic influenced art we had to this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Chuck was, really heavy into like caricatures, I
Hmm.
guess. And then uh Brian, not so much.
No,
Yeah.
Brian openly admitted he couldn't draw.
Yeah, yeah. And then what the one said with what's his name?
Gustovich?
Yeah,
That was just phoned
Gustovich.
in.
Yeah, yeah.
Will be nice, but it's like all static poses. I'm way out of focus, but it's like the same art that appears in all the Palladium books. It's, which they still reprint to this day. All that old Gustovich art, which I find hilarious.
It just didn't hit. It did not.
No, and you could tell he was just an in-between guy.
Yeah, yeah.
But let's bring in Maelstrom.
All right, let's see if I can get my camera to focus back on here. Come on, you can do it. Yeah, there we go. That looks beautiful.
See, when I first saw this guy, I'm like, is he cybernetic? I didn't understand what was going on with just this art. Like, what's coming out of his ear? Is he wearing a headpiece?
That's what I thought. That it was like a headpiece receiver or something like a
Yeah, some kind of
fancy
comms or
dancy.
something.
Yeah, comms.
Then his second card, it looks like it might be part of him.
Yeah. I mean, this like you can kind of see where it looks like it may be a headpiece because he's got that bracket that kind of
Yeah.
keeps it on there, and it's kind of separated a little bit.
Hmm.
Yes,
Maybe this is his species version of cauliflower ear.
could be.
Let's do
Oh,
his dramatic rating. He's 6 foot and a half out of Cygnus. A newcomer to the wrestling scene, Maelstrom was the most recent wrestler to come from Cygnus system, from the people who despise Earthlings. With such a ferocity, trained by Magnus and teaming with U.S. traitor as Cygnus Strike Force, Maelstrom declared war on all of Earth wrestlers, except his partner, at least at first. Since the day he entered the GWF in 2108 by burning an American flag. Primarily a brawling power fighter, Maelstrom came in with more passion than most rookies and rose quite highly with his partner in the tag rankings. Following the return from Centra, Maelstrom and the rest of the new Alien Connection team tossed U.S. Trader out of the group to focus their attention solely on tearing apart Commando Sam and his Federation defense fighters. In the sudden death feud in 2114, they fell short of their goal, and Maelstrom left GWF, presumably to wrestle in the CWA.
yep.
Yeah, he was the next. The next in the line from Cygnus.
How many Cygnus wrestlers do we have?
At least two.
Well, you got Mangus, Maelstrom, and where's Comrade Terror from? Dreadnought.
He's from there too.
Yeah,
I
that's what I
thought he was
thought.
from there too. Yeah.
So there's three.
Was Tongsun? No, I don't know if
No,
Tongsun
Tung
was
Soon
either.
was he's human.
Yeah, well, yeah, but I thought that his didn't say Tongsun of Cygnus. So yeah,
Now, is he a lizard turned human or a human turned lizard back to human?
Oh, hold on. It says Soldier of Fortune is from Cygnus.
yeah. See, so who knows what Cygnus has got there? What kind of
Yeah.
And then none of them really look the same, other than Tong Soon and Dreadnought kind of look similar, but the
yeah,
rest are very unique looking.
yeah. It's almost
Torpor
like
was,
they're
go ahead.
it's almost like they're Animen uh, of lizard shape
Yeah,
Yeah.
or alien or something. Yeah,
Torpor also came from there.
yeah. Torpor was from there.
Yeah, so they all look pretty different. Like, yeah, yeah, like a reptilian look to them.
Yeah. Yes,
Like Magnus was, or Mangus was like a snake guy with multiple eyes.
with multiple eyes, stalked.
Yep.
Which right to the eye? How does that work with him? I always chuckled at that.
He had many
Not really.
options.
Yeah,
He has eyes on his face, and then he has like two that come out of his shoulders. I think he has eyes. Does he have eyes on his
um,
face? No, he doesn't.
yeah. He's just
He's
got like cavities for it, but who knows?
he's cool looking though.
Yeah, he is. I mean, I thought it was a neat, a different take on getting a different alien back in the set.
Mhm.
So
And
And,
his new
and
card comes next year, and it's pretty
yeah,
cool looking. That's a really awesome piece of art, but we'll get to that when we get to that card soon enough. But yeah, I always like the aliens. It seems like there's only three or four systems that produce aliens in this galaxy, though the rest are all humans.
we're all bipeds as well. We're all on
Yeah.
two legs
You
for
would
the
think
most.
the Animen there'd be more of a variety of
Yeah,
different.
but
we do get
looking
a.
at I would say looking at his move set, he's got one move that just kind of confuses me. It's the throat slam suplex,
I'm gonna
Road
guess that's a
slam
T-bone.
suplex.
A
this
T-bone
just
Probably.
suplex.
or this just falls upon Tom when he says, yeah, he just makes up names and doesn't think about it.
It sounds good.
Hmm. I see that as like a choke slam into a suplex. That's probably possible.
Huh. Yeah. I mean, if we're being the power guy, he's -1 power, which is not bad, but
Yeah.
still, yeah.
Well, we can power creep this guy since it's his first card, and we only power creep people's first cards. So Pete, you being the new guy, how would you power creep Maelstrom? You can change one thing on his card.
Um, I probably would take him to -2 power. Um, that'll help him win some of those things to get his level 1 number 6 move over.
Who's he feuding with this time?
Um, they
Or
are
the,
going
the FDS
against
fighters, whoever that is.
Oh yeah,
yeah FDF yeah.
he's gonna get overpowered by all those guys.
So basically anybody from Earth.
Yeah. I'm gonna change his death jump rating from a C to a B.
And I'm going to take that down away on level 2.
Hmm. He could use a tag on level 2 as well, since he's kind of a tag guy right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, but he's got 3 names, so he's got a 50-50 shot.
True.
And for a tag guy who only has one tag,
yeah.
Yeah, but like you
I'm,
said, 50-50 shot on both level 1 and 2 to
yeah,
turn it around.
I'm a tag specialist.
His
One tag.
his his finisher is a here we go ready whips his opponent into the ropes, then delivers a big clothesline that sends the opponent crashing backwards into the turnbuckle.
Hmm.
The Annihilator Edge. That's how it is described. It was Mangus's finisher in the GWF years ago. So
That's
got to have
cool.
a little bit of timing to pull that off to make sure that they fall back into the turnbuckle. So
That feels more like a setup for something bigger in the turnbuckle. Maybe that's why it's only a +1.
could be why it's only a plus.
That's actually, I'm looking at his next move, the brand of Cygnus. He follows it up with an attempted branding. So,
Ah,
so
well, there you
they,
go.
so that's his next card in 4 years.
Tom was watching Terry Funk and went,
We need
Don't
Space
have
Funk.
yeah.
Nice.
but with all our guests, we broke out 5 questions. Since we've done this, Brock and myself haven't even answered these questions, so we got Pete up now going to join us. So we thought we'll do the our 5 questions that we ask our guests, and we'll ask of ourselves. Except one of the questions we took out, which was your favorite holiday, and we're going to replace it with, if you were a pro wrestler, what would your ring entrance music be?
Yep.
Start
Hmm.
off with Pete.
So my ring entrance music is easy. It would be Tusk by Fleetwood Mac. Uh, I don't know. That song just it builds and it's got the right lead into it, and then you can just kind of come out strutting to it. If you've never heard it, it's the video that they use the USC marching band in. So
I will have to
I,
look it up. I know of
I
Fleetwood
don't
Mac.
want Fleetwood Mac Tusk
Yep.
TUSK.
All right.
It's yeah. If you listen to it, it's as it's described by the people in Fleetwood Mac. It was their attempt to try to get outside of the normal. Like they moved more towards some punk and some like grunge, even though it wasn't grunge called grunge at the time, but to get out of like their comfort zone as to what they were playing, and that's what they did. But they included a big band in it, like literally a marching band, like USC's marching band is part of it. But I think it's really really cool.
Sounds
So
cool.
yeah.
I've
So
probably I've probably heard it, just didn't know the name.
you probably have, you just don't realize. If you ever been to a USC or ever seen USC on TV playing football, they
Hmm.
play it at every USC game. So, but yeah,
I just download it so I can listen to it later.
yeah, there you go.
Okay, Brock, what would yours be?
Tougher Than Leather by Run DMC.
Nice.
I had 3 in my career. I started off with Just Another Victim by Helmet and House of Pain. That lasted about a year. And then I switched over to Love It Loud by Kiss, just because
It's a good one.
I was talking to King Kong Bundy, and he said, you got to get new music. He goes, because you only really get about 20 seconds of music. And he goes, and it's got to make a statement. And he goes, and so I'm like, okay. And one of my all-time favorite wrestlers also used Steve Williams used Love It Loud. So I'm like, okay. And it just works out well. That boom, boom, tch.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
come in, and then for my final, probably, I want to say 10, 12 years, I used Money City Maniacs by Sloan.
We'll have to look that up.
So it starts off with air raid sirens for about 15
Well,
seconds.
there you go. Yeah.
Nice.
So it worked out well. So, yeah, Sloan Money City Maniacs. Okay,
Check
Pete, you're
that out.
probably the most well-traveled out of us. But what's one place you've always wanted to visit?
Greece. I have never been to Greece, so that is on my list of places to go. And growing up, I was a big fan, or read a lot of children's level Greek mythology, and so I just thought that that would be really cool to go over there and see it. So don't ask me anything about mythology beyond like fifth grade level, but I thought it was really neat stuff. So yeah.
What about you,
So,
Brock?
but yeah, race.
If I could travel anywhere, probably Ireland. Check that out and see all the sheep. I'm not much of a traveler. I like getting to my destination, but I hate traveling itself.
I have two,
Uh,
I have
there's a
two places
joke
I've
in there
always wanted to
someplace
go.
that I'm not going to tell. So,
I got two places I've always wanted to go. My wife said she would not go with me on either place. One is you can actually take a tour to Antarctica,
yep, that would be cool. That would be cool.
Literally.
and the second is Japan.
Japan would be, yeah, I'd like to get to Japan. That'd be fun.
And my wife would not want to go there either because she does not like crowds.
Yeah, me neither.
Does not like the cold and does not like crowds.
I
Wait a
don't mind the
second. You live
cold.
where do you live?
Doesn't mean she's happy all the time.
Yeah, I see Florida in your future. Snowbirds coming at you.
And if you had a lightsaber, what color would it be?
Mine would be blue. So, pretty
What
basic.
about you, Brock?
Yellow.
You'd be a guardian.
Hmm. That's what I chose in Knights of the Old Republic, at least.
I would probably be purple because, especially in my youth, I was known to fracture the occasional law, but still never cross that point.
Yeah, get close.
Yeah,
Hmm.
so it'd probably be purple for me. Uh, your your Mount Rushmore of GWF characters. Your top four.
My top four: Death Knight, Colossus. I love that that influence. You know, bringing the high technology of the cyborg type stuff. Thought that was really a cool idea. Um, Malice. I enjoyed Malice for some reason. He just that character just when he debuted, I was ready for something new from the for the Gladiators, and that was him. And let's see something new. I won't lie, I do like Endgame. I think Endgame was a really cool character, so I would probably put him on my Mount Rushmore. He's really, I don't want to say he's grown on me. I just thought it was a neat way to bring in the logo guy. So we brought the logo in with Endgame.
Hmm.
And if I get to pick an honorable mention for the statue out in front, it's probably going to be the Aetherian Overmaster because he does well for me. He really does. So
What about you, Brock?
Billy Joe Boxer,
Yeah.
Thantos. Gonna go Dreadnought, Greg the Hammer Valentine. And honorable mention, I will do. Um, we'll go Bloodline.
yeah,
I thought that was
good
an
one.
interesting twist.
Yeah.
I would be Massive, Thantos, Matador, Mayhem, and my honorable mention would be Lance Atlas.
Nice. You can't go wrong.
Mm-mm.
Lance, he's picking up for me right now. It took him years to get the ball rolling, and right now he's doing quite well. But he
Yeah.
always had one of the cooler pictures, I thought.
Yeah. Yeah. If he asked me, he's Chuck Norris.
Yeah, especially his upcoming SE that we'll be talking about.
Yes. Yeah. Right. So,
And what's an unknown fact that you'd be willing to share about yourself?
an unknown fact. Well, no, it's not unknown. I have a lot of tattoos. I was going to say that I have tattoos, but that's not unknown. Um, wow. Um, oh, I was a radio DJ in college before I joined the Air Force.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So yeah, when I first before I joined the Air Force, I was studying to go into broadcasting, want to be a sports broadcaster.
That's cool.
So, but you had to go learn how to do the radio stuff before they put you on the sports stuff. So got
Hmm.
to got to do that. So pretty cool. It was neat stuff. It was fun.
Yeah. What about you, Brock?
Hmm. I don't know. I'm trying to think of a good one that's kind of fun. There's really not much interesting about me. Like, let's see. Um, I have translucent skin on my legs.
Well, all right.
If you want to see it at Galacticon, I'll show you. You can watch blood flow through my through my veins. That's from third degree sunburn.
Uh,
I
Mike, do you
my
now have that as well?
no my weirdest thing that I can do is if you look at my back, I can
Ooh.
remove my shoulder blades at will.
Oh, there
Oh,
you go.
nice.
But
I'll try to think of a better one for next time we interview
Yeah.
somebody on this.
for my for my odd one, it would be I have an adopted sister that my mom put up for adoption, and we just met a few years ago.
That's pretty cool.
Cool. Nice.
So we slowly stay in contact. But we
Nice.
should quickly wrap this up because we only have about a minute
Ooh,
or
ooh.
a few seconds.
All right, everybody. Thanks for watching. If you haven't done so yet, please hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed the video, give it a thumbs up. While you're here, scroll on down to the description where you will find all of our friends who do Filsinger Games related content, including the official Filsinger Games podcast roll up, the Legends team's Uncharted Territory, Dizzy Dice from Lee Lamprey, solo promoter from Grant Pachoco. Grant is also here on YouTube, along with Brad Plays 81, Bucky 749, and Dave Little's Heartland Championship Wrestling. I'm on Twitch sporadically. Check that out.